Up Information Overload Hour, Sean Hannity Show. We'll get to your calls this hour, 800-941-SEAN, if you want to be a part of the program. You know, I'm loving, it's almost priceless, the reaction of the media mob and the Democratic Party and liberals in general. It's comical. They say you send 50 people to Martha's Vineyard and they bubble and fizz like Alka-Seltzer in water, and all this outrage feigned as usual, all this anger expressed. We have now they've got to be charged with kidnapping. Gavin Newsom is the dumbest governor in the country. He really is. He thinks he's going to be president. He's even now saying that if Joe Biden doesn't run, I'm running. I'm making the prediction he will be the Democratic candidate in 2024 and very beatable. His record is atrocious. He's such a phony hypocrite. California gets shut down. Not him. He's out. You know, he gets caught multiple times. He can't go to Montana because of their policies. He goes to vacation in Montana. No kids, no in-person learning, but his kids stayed in school at their private elite school. His winery stayed open. Other wineries did not. It's unbelievable. He's just a classic elitist hypocrite that he is. Anyway, so you got all these figures now. They're just freaking out over DeSantis and Abbott. Now, remember, Joe Biden himself, he's been flying people all over the country in the dark of night to obscure airports and literally dumping illegal immigrants with no help, no assistance in these states to fend for themselves. And 50 illegal immigrants are sent by Ron DeSantis, and this is what the reaction is. And by the way, they were out of Martha's Vineyard in less than 24 hours. And we found plenty of housing and plenty of job opportunities when we started doing a deep dive and looking. Listen to these MSDNC, guests and hosts going on and on how Abbott and DeSantis need to be prosecuted over human trafficking.
We've probably seen, as I'm sure the rest of the country has, and watched in horror, the images of migrants being trafficked effectively across state lines.
Human trafficking, kidnapping people is absolutely wrong.
What I've been calling political human trafficking.
Some politicians would rather not only have an issue, but exacerbate it to the extent of literally human trafficking, as you said.
Is there any conversation that's being had per your reporting about whether or not this is a crime? Because this has been called trafficking. There is a lot of chatter now that what these governors, including Ron DeSantis, have done is to have trafficked these families.
These are the kinds of tactics we see from smugglers in places like Mexico and Guatemala. And for what? A photo op?
This is like a race to the bottom of a lack of decency. And I don't know how else to describe it. And probably illegal. And that's why we've asked for the Department of Justice to investigate.
Being promised a job that doesn't exist is a serious legal issue. That was the deciding factor for people getting on these planes.
That, to me, is a violation of the federal kidnapping statutes. The legal term of art is inveigling. And the person that we need to understand that is, unfortunately, at this point, not Ron DeSantis, not Greg Abbott. We need Merrick Garland, once again, to understand that and bring the full weight and power of the federal government down on these people.
It's unreal. Now you have Javier Salazar, who is, literally a Texas sheriff, saying he's opening a criminal investigation into Ron DeSantis and his migrant flights to Martha's Vineyard. By the way, every one of those people signed a consent form. They did so voluntarily. Joe let him in the country illegally. He aided and abetted the law breaking. The governors don't have the power at all to deport them. That would be Joe's Department of Homeland Security that should do that. They should allow the Border Patrol to do their job. But meanwhile, Joe has been flying people everywhere. Why aren't they after Joe? Anyway, listen to Mr. Salazar.
We are opening up a case with an investigation with regard to the suspected activities involving the 48 migrants from Venezuela that, as we understand it at this point, the facts of the case at this point, are that on Wednesday, September 14th, here in Bexar County in the city of San Antonio, our understanding is that a Venezuelan migrant was paid what we would call a bird dog fee to recruit approximately 50 migrants from the area around a migrant resource center on San Pedro here in San Antonio. As we understand it, 48 migrants were lured, I will use the word lured, under false pretenses into staying at a hotel for a couple of days. They were taken by airplane. At a certain point, they were shuttled to an airplane where they were flown to Florida and then eventually flown to Martha's Vineyard, again, under false pretenses is the information that we have, that they were promised work. They were promised the solution to several of their problems. They were taken to Martha's Vineyard from what we can gather for little more than a photo op, video op. And then they were unceremoniously stranded in Martha's Vineyard.
And not to be outdone, here's Hakeem Jeffries of New York, that DeSantis and Abbott are acting like human traffickers. They peddle in hatred and xenophobia. No, by their definition of racism and xenophobia, we saw that in Martha's Vineyard. Here's Hakeem Jeffries.
Well, the behavior of individuals like Ron DeSantis and Greg Abbott is radical, reckless, regressive, and reprehensible. They should start behaving like governors and stop behaving like human traffickers. They are putting politics over people in the most egregious way possible. These are individuals who claim to oppose everything that the Venezuelan government stands for at this particular point in time. But that doesn't matter to individuals like Ron DeSantis and Greg Abbott because they peddle in hatred and xenophobia and trying to exploit the fears of the American people. And that's incredibly irresponsible.
All right, joining us now on the legality of all this, Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody, and Horace Cooper's back with us, legal commentator, co-chair of the Black Leadership Network Project 21, author of How Trump is Making Black America Great Again. Thank you both for being with us. Ashley, I said on the air since day one, I think this is the greatest political jujitsu move ever made, and it has exposed such rank hypocrisy among the left and elitists that live in beautiful Martha's Vineyard, but frankly also our nation's capital. Muriel Bowser freaking out, calling up the National Guard, saying she can't handle a few busloads of illegal immigrants. Lori Lightweight moving people in buses outside of her city. She wanted no part of it. Now Eric Adams in New York, he wants to put people on cruise ships. I'm not sure who's going to pay for that, but he doesn't want the problem in his city. Anyway, so I think what the governor did was actually fair and honorable, and people signed consent forms, so I guess he had the right to do it, didn't he?
Well, I think the timing of this is just terrific. Watching these leaders across the country who have ignored law and order, they celebrate those who actually break the law, they condemn those that are trying to solve a problem, they start making those that are breaking the law sound like victims. I mean, this is par for the course. And as they're desperately trying to walk back from the fact that they have been, supporting lawlessness for the last few years, as we get closer and closer to November, I listen to them going, we didn't want to defund the police. We're law and order people. Well, look at what they're doing. DeSantis, Abbott, so many great governors and leaders are trying to deal with the absolute decimation of any sort of security or order at the border. And we're left with the aftermath of traffickers flowing across the border. The amount of people that we are detaining that have criminal convictions, even for homicide, is astounding.
Ashley, I'm sure you've seen the story that Venezuela is emptying their prisons of violent criminals and bringing them to our border. They're dumping them on our border.
This has historically been done. Biden and so many that are supporting his lawlessness agenda are weakening our country. And listen to the words that these folks are using when they're trying to cast DeSantis and Abbott as traffickers or smugglers. Listen to the words they're using. They're saying that these folks that were flown to Martha's Vineyard were left to fend for themselves.
No, they weren't.
Martha's Vineyard.
All right.
Listen to the words they're using.
Okay, first of all, they did it. They volunteered. They signed consent forms. They were fed well. They were given a place to shower and shave and offered free haircuts. And then they were invited. If they wanted to go, they could go. They chose to go. The island kicked them out in less than 24 hours. And we did some research, and we found in 5 minutes over 120 room for 120 people in rooms available in Martha's Vineyard. And by the way, don't forget, Obama has 30 acres. I'm sure he could give up 15 of those acres for people to have a place to stay. And they could certainly build temporary housing for them right next to the Obamas. I'm sure they wouldn't mind. They want to lead by example. But it's so funny to watch this. It's like, really? You don't care about the
funny and tragic.
It is tragic. I agree.
Prosecutor who actually, I was a former federal prosecutor. I've been a judge. You know, I've seen what actual trafficking and smuggling has done to people, to families across this nation. Biden is directly responsible for increasing support and the ability for traffickers and smugglers. And I've seen the devastation. To compare that to what Abbott and DeSantis are trying to do in dealing with the problem and what Biden has caused, it's unconscionable. I can't believe it. I know folks find this funny. I think it is tragic that they would.
No, it's tragic.
The trafficking.
When I say it's hilarious watching their rank hypocrisy.
Yeah.
But you are correct. This is a human tragedy. We had a report today of mass graves of people that have died making this treacherous journey only because they know and are being told Joe's letting them in. So there is a human, tragedy side of all of this. Then we talk about all the people that we've chronicled. Sarah Carter's been down at the border now for us, reporting every night almost. How many girls, young girls, have been raped, and how the cartels control all of this, and how they're making a fortune because of Joe's open border policies. It is a tragedy, a human.
The media that are calling DeSantis and Abbott traffickers, they should be ashamed of themselves.
They're not.
The people that have supported the traffickers and are helping the traffickers and the devastation they've caused, that's directly the Biden administration and all these lawless Dems that fall into the same policy approaches.
Let me bring our friend Horace Cooper into this. Horace, I know you have strong thoughts on this as well.
Well, absolutely. Let's take Sheriff Salazar. He holds a press conference announcing what this investigation that he's undertaking. And he admits he can't even name or cite a statute that he would claim has been violated. This is an investigation in search of a crime. That's actually not how the legal system is supposed to work.
Quick break. We'll come back on the other side. More with Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody, Horace Cooper.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you might be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to getrefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com. That's getrefunds.com.
Do you have more than $50,000 saved for retirement that you can't afford to lose? Biden's pro-inflation White House is already sending billions to Ukraine. They're burying us in national debt, and they're not doing anything to stop inflation and help our own country. Hey, everybody, this is Linda from The Hannity Show. Can your retirement survive crippling inflation and growing debt at the same time? If you have $50,000 or more saved for retirement, heed the warnings. Do something to protect yourself now. That's why right now, thousands of Americans are using an IRS loophole to protect their retirement savings from everything that's going on. So visit goldco.com/Hannity to get your free IRS loophole kit and see how you could protect your retirement savings while getting $10,000 or more in free silver for doing it. Gold Co. is the company that Sean Hannity and I recommend for gold and silver, and they've helped place nearly $1 billion in precious metals. So what are you waiting for? Visit goldco.com/Hannity. That's goldco.com/Hannity.
If you've been injured in an accident that's not your fault and you don't have an attorney, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions and tell you how much your case is potentially worth. Call 800-709-7610 and get a free legal consultation. That's 800-709-7610. Call now for a free legal consultation.
Attorney advertisement by LHP Law Group may not be available in all states.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you might be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to GetRefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to GetRefunds.com. That's GetRefunds.com.
Listen, the last time the economy looked like this, the stock market tanked 50%. The U.S. dollar lost 46% of its value, and the price of oil quadrupled. Hey, everybody, it's Linda from The Hannity Show. Yet while the U.S. economy collapsed and inflation ran through the roof, the price of gold shot up 1,300%, and silver rocketed over 800%. So, if history repeats itself, we could see it happen again. Can you afford to miss what could be the biggest gold and silver boom of our generation? That's why I want you to visit goldco.com/Hannity, because when you do, you will not only get the chance to protect your retirement savings with gold and silver, but as a Sean Hannity listener, you can get $10,000 or more in free silver just for doing it. This is a rare opportunity, so don't miss out. Visit goldco.com/Hannity. That's goldco.com/Hannity.
If you've been injured in an accident that's not your fault and you don't have an attorney, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions and tell you how much your case is potentially worth. Call 800-709-7610 and get a free legal consultation. That's 800-709-7610. Call now for a free legal consultation.
Attorney advertisement by LHP Law Group may not be available in all states.
All right, more with Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody. Horace Cooper is with us as well, legal commentator and co-chair of the Black Leadership Network, Project 21. I think, Horace, I could make a strong legal case. I'm not an attorney as you are or the Florida Attorney General is. However, we do have laws that for legal immigration. Joe Biden is aiding and abetting the law breaking that is going on every day down at our border. Joe Biden, if I went down to the border and I picked up people that came to this country illegally and I've either flew them or drove them or put them on the back of a motorcycle and took them to another place in the country, I would be arrested, rightly so, for human trafficking, wouldn't I?
Well, you would. And in fact, when several of these individuals have been offered up in interviews, when they have been queried about why they came, they said they came illegally because Joe Biden is president and he's not enforcing the law. Now, that's what they said. That's a conspiracy between two parties. One is acknowledging the crime. The other is apparently, and it's obvious, is engaging in
And
crime.
the governors do not have the authority on their own to deport people, do they? That would be the role of the president and Department of Homeland Security. Is that correct?
That is correct, and that's thanks to the efforts of Mr. Obama, Biden, who was president when Biden was vice president, and got the Supreme Court to agree, stripping the states from what would have been heretofore thought of as lawful authority. But what is now happening is, if the feds are not going to do it, you can't simply let, as a governor, your state get overrun. I believe our president is setting himself up for impeachment over his failure to enforce the law, since the Supreme Court has said there are no alternatives for states to undertake.
Unbelievable. Anyway, I appreciate both of you being with us and being a strong voice for law and order. And I hope Governor DeSantis and I hope Governor Abbott keep doing what they're doing, because clearly now all of a sudden It's making a difference, and everything we've known about the trouble down at our borders, the rest of the country is well aware of, and the rank hypocrisy is being exposed, and that's very critical. By the way, this issue will be on the ballot in 49 days. Ashley Moody, thank you. Horace Cooper, thank you.
Didn't the IRS scandal and the NSA atrocities convince you? You need a watchdog on Washington with insider sources. You need Hannity every day.
All right, 25 till the top of the hour. Toll free on numbers 800-941-SEAN if you want to be with us. I know many of you have been patient. Frank is in New York. Frank, Lee Zeldin has a great chance of winning the governorship in New York. He really does. I'm not being Pollyannish. He's within the margin of error. If we would have paid more attention to New Jersey in that gubernatorial race last year, I think we could have won that race.
Yeah, Lee Zeldin is really good. I seen him. I sing in a restaurant in New York, and
you do?
I've been there several times. Yeah.
What do you sing?
I sing Sinatra, Dean Martin.
Wow.
New York, Long Island. Well, actually, in Long Island, Madison Steakhouse. They closed up now, but he used to frequent the place.
If I put you on the spot and said, play the chorus of New York, New York, could you do it?
Not on the phone, I can't, but I will do it for you.
That's okay. Maybe we'll do it another day. What's on your mind today?
Well, I just wanted to talk. I seen on the news that there was this couple that lost a son to fentanyl, and they had a reward out for the people who did it, the person who sold it to them. And to me, it seemed like it was a waste because I know who sold it to my son. I lost my son in November of last year.
Oh, no.
To fentanyl. And
how old was your son?
He was 44. He worked for the city, to the transit authority. And, I know who he was with that night before. I see a cash app on his phone that he paid his brother, the brother and him. I won't mention any names. And we told the detectives, but in New York, he said to me, he said, you know something? He said, we can't do anything. He said, forget it. It's amazing. And then someone else died after that in the same neighborhood of Deer Park.
Now, was your son, was he struggling with drugs for a long time?
No, he wasn't struggling at all. He had problems with his girlfriend, and he was away from her a while. And I wish I would have known because, I watched the news continuously. And I knew about the border crisis we have and what's going over the border. And, I would have definitely pumped it into him, but I didn't know. I just totally didn't know.
You know what drug it was laced with?
Yes, it was fentanyl.
You're right. Fentanyl. What was the drug that he thought he was taking?
It was cocaine and fentanyl. It was laced with fentanyl.
That's I don't even have words for you. It's so sad. It's heartbreaking. Yeah. I don't know if I could ever recover from something like this. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I think about him every day, and
of course,
I say to myself, I wish I would have known because I know the story. I know what the administration put to the country, and it's horrible. It's totally horrible.
Yeah. This is now a huge problem, and we've highlighted it a lot. We're losing about, on average, 300 people a week, and it's getting worse.
Plane crash every day.
Yeah, you're right. By the way, that's a great analogy. Great way to put it. If we had a plane crash every day, people would be up in arms, right? And
exactly.
Here we have wide open borders. The cartels, all of our resources, Border Patrol people, they're dealing with Biden's open borders disaster, so they don't even have the ability to man large portions of border wide open. The cartels are taking full advantage. They're bringing this poison in terms of fentanyl and opioids and heroin across that border every single day. China, by the way, is the biggest producer of the fentanyl. A lot of people don't seem to know that. We're not holding them accountable. And I'm hearing stories like this more and more, and it's, as a parent, it should scare the hell out of everybody.
Yeah,
I have friends that have lost their kids to fentanyl. We've had our friend Eric Bowling on this program, and he talked about, and he says it in every speech he gives on this topic. I've watched him. I've watched the heartache that he and his wife went through, and he lost his 19-year-old son, and then the kid just got a Xanax. I guess he was experiencing anxiety. And in every speech, I've heard Eric say it many times, don't think this can't happen to you. I take those words very seriously, and I'm sure you never thought this would happen. As your kids get older, you'd like to think that you don't have to keep reminding them of all the things that you were reminding them about in their teens, but you really don't ever stop worrying about your kids.
It's true, because when Trump lost, you never think it's going to hit home, and it did. It did.
Well, you're in our prayers. Your son is in our prayers too. Your whole family, and I'm sure. I hope people are listening. Your analogy was perfect. It's like a plane crash a day.
I had a guy do my roof, and he says, "Would you talk to my son?" I said, "Certainly will." And I told him what I know, that I learned from you and everyone else on the news, and it just, whatchamacall, he was so happy about it, and the kid is doing well. He said he's very scared now.
Was the kid using drugs up to that point? Is that why he wanted you to talk to him? Yeah.
Yes, he was.
By the way, Frank, they're putting this in weed. They're putting it in marijuana. They're putting it, everyone knows my famous tape of my Juul on TV, but I buy the tobacco one, not the very light nicotine one, but I probably shouldn't be doing it. But they actually have pods like that have THC in it, the active ingredient in weed. And even in those pods, they're putting in fentanyl. It's everywhere. And I'll tell you, every article I see as I go through my day about this topic, I send it to my 2 kids. And I'm like, this is real. It's like you tell your kids when they become teenagers and they're going to start drinking, don't ever put your drink down. Somebody will put something in it. Don't put yourself in a position. Don't be the kid that's throwing up in the bushes. Don't be the kid that dies from a drug overdose. I know too many families that this has happened to. I've met too many families. I've been to events highlighting this issue. We went to that movie premiere. Eric was at that movie premiere we went to. And, I'm so sorry. I really am. My prayers are with you, my friend. I wish I could do more. I know that pain will be with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Hang in there, bud.
With this Martha's Vineyard thing, we go to Martha's Vineyard. Me and my wife, I have a small plane. I fly there, and, from Long Island. And it's something that's so nice there and everything. And you just, what happened there is a tragedy.
It's
a shame.
Yeah, well, I think they expose themselves for who they really are. All right, Frank, God bless you. Hang in there, buddy. If we can ever do anything for you, if you're having a bad day, call us. We'll put you on the air, and we'll talk to you.
Sean.
All right, hang in there. Imagine that pain. I can't. It would be over for me. I would not recover. And I always think of myself as a tough guy. I'm not that tough. I'm not. I don't know how these parents have gone through it. Had that conversation with Eric again and again. And he goes, just one day at a time. That's how you live it. And some days are worse than others. And it just hangs over your head. And it like is a cloud. It doesn't lift. And I know we believe in heaven. I know we believe in paradise. That it's still not comforting when you don't have your own kid.
But can I get political for a minute?
Yep.
I'm going to get a little angry because this really pisses me off. But I was just sitting here talking to Katie, and I'm getting to a place where I'm wondering when we could start calling people on the carpet for the fact that the borders are open, you're allowing it to happen. When are you culpable? Because I know people like, Mark Morgan and Tom Hogan and Brandon Judd and our own Sarah Carter, they're down there all the time, and they're doing good work, and they are looking at things that you cannot unsee.
Some people ask me, why do you keep covering the story? It's because this guy had the perfect analogy. Imagine a jetliner, a 777 going down a day.
Yeah.
Okay. Americans would respond to that.
But the problem, Sean, is that it's not shown. And the problem, Sean, is that it's kind of like, he made a good analogy of Martha's Vineyard, which is that, and Katie and I were just saying this a few seconds ago, like, oh, did the rich people get inconvenienced? Oh, did it not look pretty on your sidewalk for 5 minutes? Well, that's what Texas and Florida and Pennsylvania and other places when you're flooding these migrants in the middle of the night. So, you know what? If Weissman and if Salazar and all these other hypocrite liars want to turn around and now start to get upset about what's been going on for the past 2 years in the middle of the night on taxpayer dollars, when we have the tarmac audio from January from Westchester Airport, where we got these guys saying we're contractors, we don't know what's going on, we got little kids on here. And, and then you have people, I was at the bus stop with my son this morning, and I had a neighbor say to me, oh, can you believe what DeSantis did? I'm like, oh, you mean what Biden's been doing for the past 2 years while you were asleep? Yeah, I do believe it, actually.
Right.
I believe it every second of every day. But I'm a little angry when I hear somebody like Frank, or I just read about this cop who was killed in a hit and run by an illegal immigrant, or another woman whose son, who was a star baseball player, who got the crap beat out of him by an illegal immigrant and murdered him because life is cheap and they don't care. And we've shown we don't care. So why should anyone care? At what point do we turn around and say, Biden, Kamala, Alejandro, you're all responsible. You're culpable because you're allowing it. We are Americans. We will defend our nation against an invasion.
Listen,
that's where we're at.
At the end of the day, you have to look at, okay, everybody has a decision, any adult. What's so sinister about this is people think they're buying one product. And believe me, I'm so anti-drug. This is why I'm so anti-drug. And then it's spiked with something that will kill you. And there's so many factors that go into it. But the reality is, if we controlled our border, it would be much harder for them to get this garbage, this stuff that is murdering our population, our kids. We could prevent a lot of it from getting in.
I will tell you, Sean, hand over fist, half of the problem that we are dealing with, and Anthony and I talk about this every single day because we're super involved in the kids' lives. You know what I mean? I am on the phone. I am on email. I am talking to the principal, the teacher, the people that are teaching the special classes. And yeah, you
are the defining tiger mom of all tiger moms.
100%. And you know what? If somebody said something.
God help your school board.
Listen, they know who I am.
Oh,
right?
I bet
I'm
they
there
do.
Every meeting, all the things, you know. I had, Liam asked me the other day something about,
Miss McLaughlin, it's your turn. Okay, we'll turn it over for Miss McLaughlin for the next 2 hours.
First of all, that's not true. You only get 2 minutes. But, I asked the questions. Please do not talk to him about X, Y, Z. That is not appropriate. It's not in the stated curriculum. If he learns about it, I will be at your doorstep. I will be unhappy. It will not be good for anybody. You are not allowed to teach my child about that. FYI. Just a heads up. But parents need to get involved. Especially with the TikTok
now,
stuff, Sean.
Are they responsive to you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, and other parents are in agreement with you?
I don't really care about other parents.
But they are? I mean,
oh, yeah, there's a lot of them. But if there are people in my neighborhood, they're like, I don't really see what the big deal is. I'm like, well, that's good for you. I don't really care.
Glenn Youngkin has put forward the model policies. He calls it privacy, dignity, respect for students and parents in Virginia's public schools. Parents have the right to make the decision with respect to their kids' school. Schools should respect parents' values and beliefs. Schools shall defer to parents to make the best decisions with respect to their children. Schools shall keep parents informed about their children's well-being. Schools shall serve the needs of all students. Schools shall partner with parents. Schools shall respect all students. The word sex means biological sex. The phrase transgender student means a public school student whose parent, as requested in writing, due to their child's persistent and sincere belief that his or her gender differs with his or her sex, that their child will be so identified while at school. But they can't play sports if you're a biological man, and you can't go to the girls' bathroom. And that, I think that's fair.
I tell you, I am really impressed by him. But again, he is an anomaly of a politician. He's a businessman and he's a father. If you look at people who are making decisions, they are not parents and they are not business people. They have no experience and they have no children. So why do they have a right to make a decision about any of that?
I was so naive when I had kids. I thought, oh, yeah, she sent them to college. It's all over. Well, how dumb was I? How stupid was that thought?
It's forever.
No, it really is forever.
It's forever.
I'm like, it never stops. And I'm blessed with 2 really good kids, but I'm worried to death every day. I'm worried about my adopted nephew, Liam, your son, the one I buy the choo-choo trains for. All right, I warned you, all of us are putting our personal information at risk on the internet every single day. These cyber criminals are out there. They want to rob you blind, destroy your good name and reputation, kill your credit score. You may not know it. Your home address is part of the public record. Any cyber thief can just use that one data point as a starting point to attempt various types of identity theft crimes against you. And knowing where you live can also give bad actors the ability to redirect your mail without even your authorization and send you official-looking scam letters with the hopes that, you'll reply and give them personal information. Anyway, LifeLock sees all the threats we all miss on our own. And if, in fact, your information is in any way compromised, they will alert you. If you are a victim of identity theft, you'll get a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist that'll fix the problem for you. It's a very inexpensive, low rate annually, LifeLock.com by Norton. And right now you'll save 25% off your first year with the promo code Hannity. When you call 1-800-LifeLock, mention my name, or go to the web, lifelock.com, use the promo code Hannity. 25% off. Protect your name, reputation, finances, and your credit score. All right, that's going to wrap things up for today. Hannity tonight, 9 Eastern on the Fox News Channel. We have some breaking news tonight on Zero Experience Hunter. We'll tell you about that with Congressman Jim Comer. Also, Leo 2.0, Terrell, Pam Bondi, Joe Concha. Lee Zeldin is in a